Hey everyone, so I wanted to do a little review on Calendly, and this is a scheduling app or website that I've been using for my business. And I was using Acuity scheduling, but I found that paying for it was kind of the same as some of the features that I got with Calendly, and it wasn't as user-friendly, and I was actually having some issues with Acuity. So I switched over to this probably 3 or 4 months ago, and I really, really like it. And I haven't had any issues with it. I've been really, really happy. So I wanted to share this with you. So again, it is Calendly, so we'll just go to this website. I'm going to just go to my account here. Now, if you get started for free, you are going to have quite a few options available to you to try out for free for the first 30 days, I think it is. And so you'll see that I had 4 calls set up, 4 different types of calls that people could schedule with me. And I actually don't use these now, but when I was using the free account, it allowed you like unlimited calls that you could set up. So I just set up some generic ones here. To be honest, I hardly ever, never, almost never, have a call about the coaching opportunity. Usually I just send them a webinar. Very rarely do I get on the phone with someone, and if I do, I just schedule that one-on-one with them. I don't send them a link to schedule that. So I created this just because I could when I was using the free account. And then I also set up a nutrition and fitness recommendation call. Again, very rarely have I ever done that. I just happened to do it because I had the free account. And then a new coach call is actually the same as this one, so I don't use this one anymore. So you can see where I have these off, but if you wanted to have multiple types of calls, then you do need to upgrade, and it'll be $8 a month where you can pay up front. I personally don't need that. Where my business is right now, I technically could afford to do that, but I just don't need it. And for me, I like to have stuff that is super duplicatable for my team, and that's freebie stuff. So, not that they aren't willing to invest in their businesses, but I don't think that this is something that's necessarily something they need to pay $8 to $10 a month for right now anyway. So for me, I just need this one call, and I like to explain too how I do my calls because I know all leaders are different on their teams. For me, I personally do not do getting started right calls right when the coach signs up. I know that a lot of coaches do, and that's your business. You do whatever you would like. For me, I was finding that I was getting on the phone with people who hadn't really, they told me that they were serious. They were all excited. And I get on the phone with them, and then here I am spending an hour on the phone with them, and then they do nothing after the call. And so I found that I was wasting a lot of my time, especially when I was signing up. On average, I sign up anywhere from 10 to 15 coaches a month. So you can imagine that setting up 15 one-hour calls, that's pretty daunting. It may not seem like a lot, but those are exhausting. Those calls are tiring. So for me, it was hard for me to justify doing that. And a lot of those coaches needed later nighttime calls. And it got to the point where I was dreading getting on the phone. And I knew that when that happened, I needed to change something in my business. And I know that anytime that in my business, I feel like I'm not looking forward to something, then I need to either delegate it to someone else to do and hire them to do it, or I need to change it myself. So I changed it. And so for me, the way that I do it is as soon as a new coach signs up, they complete a welcome form that's actually kind of like a new coach welcome checklist. And in that form, it just gives them the basics of, being a new coach, setting up their websites, the basic stuff. And also in that form, I have, kind of a, because some people say, well, if you don't get on the phone with them and do a getting started right call right away, they can get overwhelmed, or they can, get discouraged really quickly. In my experience, my go-getters and the people who have actually worked the business very rarely ever get overwhelmed without having a call with me. I've never had anybody tell me that they were so overwhelmed that they just froze and quit and didn't do anything off of the form that I sent them. And I tell them in that form the reason why they have they have to do those small steps first before we get on the phone. And so once they do that, they do the new coach checklist. They text me and they say, hey, I completed the new coach checklist. I will add them into a 7-day new coach training. And that starts every Sunday to Sunday. And so once they have completed that, they know that once they complete that, they will have a one-on-one call with me. So for myself, that's worked really, really well, and I really like the setup because the people who get on the phone with me are people who have put in work already. They've done the new coach checklist. They've put in time to the business already. They completed the 7-day new coach training, and within that 7-day training, I have them, do their new coach announcement and start some conversations and kind of the basic stuff in any new coach basics. But I break it down into bite-sized pieces so that it's easy for them to digest. And so when they have completed that and I get on the phone with them, it's kind of like a small win. And they know before they start that, hey, we'll have our one-on-one call once you complete this 7-day training. So it's kind of something for them to work towards. And they know that if they don't complete the 7-day training, then there's no call. So there's nothing, left guessing there. And so when they complete the 7-day new coach training, I'll send them a message that says, congratulations, for putting in the hard work and effort in the beginning. This is, and I really make that a big deal because it is a big deal. And then I invite them with one of my links, so it would be this one, to sign up for a one-on-one coach call. And so then I tell them on that call, whenever we get on the call, that's the time for me to be like, how are you feeling? Do you have any questions for me? And I really don't have a structure to that call because they basically run the call. By that time, they have completed the new coach checklist. They've done the 7-day training. They should already have questions for me. They should already have started some conversations. They should have been posting on social media already. And so that call has a lot more substance. And in my experience, I think that it's a lot more beneficial for the coaches because they actually have legitimate questions other than the GSRs that I used to do. And it was like they ask everything. And I'm like, that's going to be in the new coach training. That's going to be in the new coach training. And so it was just kind of like a wasted call in my opinion. So this is actually a mentorship call and I can work on their questions that they actually have and their concerns. And usually that new coach call is, I feel good about everything. I'm just wondering if I need to set up my own challenge group yet and things like that. So it really just helps me mentor them to see where they're at. And I really, really like it, like that setup. And it's been successful for me so far. So the next thing that I tell them on the call too, on that first call is, for the next 30 days, because they have completed the 7-day training, for the next 30 days as a new coach, I will work with them one-on-one through like a mentorship. And each week I will get on the phone with them if they do whatever goals I set for them the week previously. So that first call, depending on the person and what their struggles are. So if they call me and they say, I'm really having a hard time posting on social media, I just feel like, I'm being timid and shy, and then I might set a goal for them and I'll say, we will have our mentorship call next week. By next week, I want you to post on your page at least 3 times a day publicly, and maybe make one invite to your challenge group by next week. That's all you need to do by next week. Or maybe I'll say, I would like for you to invite at least 3 people a day until next week. And so that kind of gives them a small thing to do until the next week. Now, I also have a new coach tracker. I don't like to give that to them too soon because I do feel like that it can overwhelm them a little bit. But if they are ready for it, I will say, here's a new coach tracker that tells you what you need to do every day. I want this filled out by the next time we get on the call. And if it's not filled out, then we probably won't have a call. But I don't usually do that until the end of the mentorship, whenever they're ready for that. Usually those first couple calls, it's just, here's what you're struggling with, so let's work on that, and here's how you can work on it. Here's a goal for next week. There's no magic behind it. I don't have a structure behind it. It's basically just me mentoring them. That's part of leadership. And so if a new coach has completed their 30-day mentorship, and then they want to get on the phone with me after that 30 days, they have to have hit Success Club 5 or above. I'm not going to get on the phone with people who are constantly, I'm struggling, things like that, and they're not even hitting Success Club 5. Because usually that means they're not doing the things that they should be doing. Now, I will make special circumstances for some people, but most of the time, if they're not hitting Success Club 5, I have a hard time meeting them halfway. So either they have to have hit Success Club 5 in the previous month, or in the current month have hit Success Club 5. So that's how I kind of decide who I spend my time with. And for my downline coaches, I don't necessarily have, if I don't set up calls with them necessarily, but if one of them wants to speak with me, I send them the same link as if they were my personally sponsored coach. So this is the link that they get. So when they click here, they are going to have some options to fill out or to select a day. So say they want to set a call up tomorrow. Now, Thursdays are my only late nights. So if you, let me go to like next week. Whoops, went a little too far, but that's okay. So you can see, let me make this bigger here. I've got to change my time because for some reason it's not showing my late night Thursdays. I think I accidentally changed it when I was messing with it earlier. But Thursday nights are my only late nights. I was doing a lot of late night calls, and like I said, I was dreading them. So now what I do is only one night a week, which is Thursday, I allow them to schedule later calls from anywhere from 10 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. at night. And so what I found is if I have a lot of coaches that sign up at once and a lot of them need that late night time, I'll say, do you guys mind all doing a group call with me at 7 o'clock on Thursday night? And usually they all love doing that. And then if I can set up an individual call with someone on a late night on Thursday, I'll do that. The reason I do Thursday is at 9 p.m. on Thursdays, we usually have a coaching webinar anyway. So I feel like I'm already going to be on the phone. I'm already going to be, in the zone to do that. So I might as well use up that time before then. But before that and after that, I don't do any calls after 5 p.m. And that's just a personal preference. So the way that this works, if somebody goes in to set up an appointment, they're going to put their first and last name, their email address, and then I ask them these questions. What do you seem to be doing really well right now with coaching? What are you struggling with right now? What personal development are you currently reading or listening to? And did you hit Success Club 5 Plus this month or the previous month? Now you'll see that it says up here, this calls for my coaches who hit Success Club the current or previous month, or new coaches less than 1 month who have completed the 7-day new coach training. So if they say no, they have not hit Success Club and they're not within that 1 month time frame, I'll just email them and say, hey, I canceled our call that you set up because you haven't hit Success Club. I'd love to meet with you. However, until you've hit Success Club 5 and kind of met me halfway, then it's going to be, I'm not going to be able to get on the phone with you yet. I'm more than happy to mentor you through messaging and things like that, but you really have to help 3 people before we can get on the phone, because I don't think I'll be able to help you as much as you're looking for and mentor you if you're not having those conversations you should be having. That's just a personal preference. And like I said, sometimes I do allow some coaches who don't hit Success Club to have a call with me depending on the effort they're putting in. Like I have some people who consistently do everything they should be doing and they're not hitting Success Club. So I will get on the phone with those types of people. If they write nothing here, then I will also cancel their call and say, hey, I noticed that you wrote that you're not doing any personal development. Until you start doing some personal development, I'm not going to be able to get on the phone with you. And I explain the reasoning why. And usually within a couple days, they're like, oh, okay, I'm doing personal development now. And that's just to make sure that they know how important that is. And so once they schedule the event, they will get an email reminder. I will get an email reminder and actually links to my Google Calendar. So you can see where people have set up calls this week. So I had calls with these coaches, and it automatically links to my Google Calendar. So let me show you how you set this up. So you name your call here, and then you set up how long you want the call. Make sure you put your description of who can be on the call, and then you can actually enter in exactly what you want the link to be, and make the color and everything. And then whenever you set up your time, I have mine set every 15 minutes on my schedule. And then mine start at 10 o'clock and end at 5. Now, if you look at my Google Calendar, I have stuff that I set up throughout the day, but I'm really flexible with that, everything but personal development in the morning. So my calls start at 10. If someone actually schedules one at 10 o'clock, then what I'll do is just move this down to 11. So I can move things around if I need to. And then if you want to add another interval time, you can do that. And then you'll see, and once you select a time, if you want the same time every day, then you can just click here. And then on Thursday, I want to make sure that I change this, because I think it got changed somehow. And I want to only apply that to Thursdays. So on Thursdays, I do have a late night there. And then how far in the future can events be scheduled? Up to 30 days in advance. Here's where you can add the questions and you can make them required or optional. And then inviting notifications, I just have them, they're sent an email confirmation, and I make sure that this is on so they get an email. I also will text them the day of just to remind them. And I use Zoom, so I'll send them the link as well. And then you can add blackout dates if you need to, which I've done when we're on vacation and things like that. And then this is really important too to take note of. Max number of events acceptable per day. I personally don't want to have more than 4 personally sponsored mentorship calls a day. That can get pretty draining in my opinion. So 4 is about all that I would want to do personally. So that's why I have that there. And then I don't want anybody to be able to schedule less than 12 hours in advance, just so that I can have some time to prepare and add it to my schedule. And then before the event, I just give myself about 10 minutes, just in case somebody schedules something back to back. I have some time in between to get a drink of water or whatever I want to do. And then if you want to do custom links, you can click there. And so let me save changes, and there we go. So if anybody is wanting a mentorship call, what I'll do is I'll just copy link, and I will send that to the coach and say, hey, congratulations, you have completed the 7-day training, which means that you will get one-on-one mentorship with me for the next 30 days, and we'll talk about all of that on the call. And then they go here, and they will set up a time. So if you go to Thursday now, you'll see tomorrow night they could actually schedule at 7:15 and enter in all their information. So that is Calendly, and I love it. I also, because I use Google Calendar, it just links right up to my Google Calendar. So when you sign up for your Calendly, make sure that you, when you log in, you can actually, let me go to, it's not integrations, I guess it would be my account settings. But, let me see. Well, when I logged in, basically what I did was I made sure that I used the same email that I use with my Google Calendar so that it would automatically link up. And you can even log in just using Google. So that might be smart to do. So then that way it links right up to my Gmail, and I have these calls right here. And I can see that she filled these out here, and she did hit Success Club, so I am more than happy to get on the phone with her. And I see that she was saying she's just struggling with herself right now. So she's just having some issues maybe with her own personal journey. And so you can actually see that information there. And I get a little pop-up reminder on my phone, because I have Google Calendar on my phone and on here. So it'll actually pop up about 30 minutes before. But you can actually change this down here. So pop up 30 minutes. You can change that however, if you want an email 30 minutes before, whatever you'd like to have for that. So anyway, guys, that's how I use Calendly. Wanted to share that with you. Hope it helps you and your business. Bye, guys.